Area 51, the most famous secret base in the world. Deep in America's Nevada desert, there is a place the government spent decades denying even existed. No name on the map. No one is allowed to enter. People who get too close are often stopped in the middle of the desert by mysterious armed forces. At night, many witnesses claim they have seen strange lights appear in the sky, objects flying at impossible speeds, no engine sound, no identification signals. For decades, people have believed that Area 51 is hiding UFOs, alien technology, or military secrets far beyond their time. But the most terrifying part is that even today, nobody outside truly knows what exists behind the steel fences in the middle of the Nevada desert. Area 51 lies deep within the barren Nevada desert of the United States, near the dry salt lake known as Groom Lake, a place almost completely isolated from the outside world. From the air, it looks like nothing more than an endless stretch of desert surrounded by rocky mountains and scorching sand. There are no major cities nearby, no tourists, no signs of life. During the day, temperatures here can become brutally hot. At night, the entire desert sinks into a cold and terrifying silence. But behind that silence lies one of the most secretive and heavily guarded military bases in American history. Area 51 was built in the early 1950s during the most intense years of the Cold War. At the time, the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in the greatest technological race in human history. The two superpowers competed in every field: nuclear weapons, ballistic missiles, spy aircraft, radar technology, military aviation, and even the space race. America needed a location isolated enough to develop top-secret programs without being easily monitored by Soviet satellites or spies. And the Nevada desert became the perfect choice. Far from civilization, harsh terrain, airspace easy to control. Here, the U.S. military began testing technologies that most of the world at the time could not even imagine. Many legendary aircraft were developed or tested at Area 51. U-2 spy plane, a 12 ox cart, SR-71 Blackbird, the first stealth prototypes. In particular, the SR-71 Blackbird could fly more than 3 times the speed of sound, and at altitudes so high it nearly touched the edge of space. To ordinary people back then, technology like that felt almost like science fiction. And that was exactly when the rumors began. Because what made Area 51 different was not only the military technology, but the nearly absolute secrecy surrounding the base itself. For decades, the U.S. government revealed almost nothing publicly about Area 51. No official documents, no press statements, no confirmation that the base even existed. Even public maps barely mentioned the location. Many surrounding areas were marked as restricted area, no unauthorized access. The airspace above the base was tightly controlled by the U.S. Air Force. Any civilian aircraft flying too close could be intercepted immediately. Across the desert, cameras appeared everywhere. Motion sensors were buried underground. Military patrol vehicles constantly monitored the area, and warning signs authorized the use of deadly force. But perhaps the strangest thing was how employees entered the base every day. Many people working at Area 51 did not drive there. Instead, they were transported aboard completely white aircraft with no logos or identification markings, departing from a secret terminal near Las Vegas. Later, the public gave them a nickname: Janet Airlines. A mysterious airline that carried workers to Area 51 every day before disappearing into the Nevada desert. Even employees inside the base were forbidden from discussing their work with their own families. Many workers were forced to sign extremely strict secrecy agreements, and that gradually turned Area 51 into the center of endless conspiracy theories. Then, over time, people living around Nevada began reporting strange lights in the night sky, objects flying without making any sound, things moving at impossible speeds. And from there, the stories about UFOs began to spread. During the 1950s and 1960s, beneath the vast night skies of the Nevada desert, strange stories began appearing more and more frequently. People living around the area near Area 51 repeatedly reported seeing mysterious objects flying across the night sky. Some claimed they saw bright white lights moving at incredible speeds, objects suddenly changing direction, mid-air, aircraft with shapes never seen before. Some of the objects flew so high they almost disappeared into the atmosphere. Others glided silently across the sky without making any engine noise at all. In the silent darkness of the desert, those lights looked nothing like any civilian aircraft Americans had ever known. What made the situation even stranger was that the U.S. government offered almost no explanation. At the time, the public had absolutely no idea what kinds of technologies the military was developing inside Area 51. Many programs at the base were classified at the highest level, top secret. Even many members of the military were not allowed to know the full details. The most famous example was the U-2 spy plane. This reconnaissance aircraft was secretly developed by the United States to fly over Soviet territory during the Cold War. The U-2 could fly at altitudes far higher than any civilian aircraft of that era, so high that from the ground, it looked like nothing more than a tiny glowing dot moving through the stratosphere. When people in Nevada saw it crossing the night sky, many genuinely believed they were witnessing a UFO, and it was not just the U-2. Later came a 12-ox cart SR-71 Blackbird, the first stealth prototypes. These technologies were decades ahead of their time. In particular, the SR-71 Blackbird could travel more than 3 times the speed of sound. To ordinary Americans in the 1960s, a massive black object tearing across the sky at terrifying speed hardly seemed possible for human technology. But instead of explaining what people were seeing, the U.S. government chose silence, because protecting secret military programs mattered far more than stopping UFO rumors. And that silence only fueled the public's imagination even further. Newspapers began publishing stories about mysterious flying objects, strange lights over the desert, a secret military base hidden in Nevada area. 51 gradually became the center of countless conspiracy theories. People began asking themselves, was the U.S. military simply testing secret aircraft, or were they hiding something far bigger? Then the rumors about extraterrestrials began to spread. But everything truly exploded after an event that had happened years earlier. A case known as Roswell incident. In 1947 in Roswell, the U.S. military suddenly announced that it had recovered a flying disc. But only hours later, the statement was abruptly changed. The military claimed the object was actually nothing more than a weather balloon. That sudden and confusing reversal convinced millions of Americans that the government was hiding the truth. And from that moment on, Area 51 was no longer just a secret military base. It became the ultimate symbol of hidden secrets buried deep within the shadows of America. The UFO rumors surrounding Area 51 might never have become so famous, if not for an event that happened years earlier in Roswell. In the summer of 1947, a local rancher discovered strange metallic debris scattered across his field after a powerful storm. According to witness accounts, the material was extremely lightweight, difficult to destroy, and unlike any ordinary metal known at the time, the U.S. military quickly sealed off the area and recovered the entire site. Then something strange happened. On July 8, 1947, the military suddenly released a statement claiming they had recovered a flying disc. The news immediately shocked the entire country, but only hours later, the statement was abruptly changed. The military now claimed the object was actually nothing more then a weather balloon. That confusing reversal convinced countless people that the government was hiding something. And from that moment on, a famous theory began to spread. A real UFO had crashed in Roswell. The U.S. military secretly recovered the wreckage, then transported alien technology to Area 51 for research. Over the following decades, endless rumors began to emerge. Alien autopsies, extraterrestrial bodies, spacecraft not made on Earth, anti-gravity technology. But the man who pushed these stories into global fame more than anyone else was Bob Lazar. In the late 1980s, Lazar claimed he had worked at a secret facility near Area 51 called S4. According to him, the U.S. government possessed UFOs. Engineers were attempting to reverse engineer alien technology. And some of the technology there was far beyond modern science. To this day, there is still no publicly verified evidence proving those claims are true, but the absolute secrecy surrounding Area 51 has ensured that those theories never truly disappeared. What makes Area 51 more terrifying than almost any other military base is the extreme level of security surrounding it. Across the vast Nevada desert, multiple layers of protection were built to stop anyone from getting too close to the base. Around the area, surveillance cameras appear everywhere. Motion sensors are buried beneath the ground. Military helicopters constantly patrol the skies. Mysterious SUVs monitor every movement in the desert. Along the perimeter fences stand chilling warning signs. Use of deadly force authorized. The U.S. Air Force also tightly controls all airspace above Area 51. Civilian aircraft are strictly forbidden from flying over the region. For many years, even public satellite images of the base were extremely limited, and that only made the public more curious. People began asking themselves, what inside the base could possibly require such extreme secrecy? But it was the stories that emerged at night that truly turned Area 51 into a legend. Many witnesses claimed they had seen strange lights moving across the sky, objects accelerating at impossible speeds, things that seemed to defy the normal laws of physics. Some of the objects made almost no engine noise at all. Others changed direction in midair at unbelievable speed. In the silence of the desert night, those lights seemed almost unearthly. But the fascinating part is that many famous UFOs from the Cold War era were later revealed to be secret American military technology. U-2 spy plane, SR-71 Blackbird, the first stealth prototypes. At the time, these technologies were decades ahead of the rest of the world. To ordinary people, they hardly seemed like aircraft built by human beings. And the U.S. government had no intention of explaining too much. That gradually blurred the line between reality, military technology, and conspiracy. Even today, nobody outside truly knows everything happening inside Area 51. And that is exactly what makes the place so haunting. Because sometimes, the most frightening thing is not what people can see, but what may be hidden behind closed doors in the middle of the Nevada desert. For decades, Area 51 gradually became the ultimate symbol of military secrecy, Cold War conspiracy, UFO mystery. To the American public, the place felt like a forbidden zone hidden behind layers of secrets where nobody truly knew what was happening inside. But the fascinating part is that many famous UFOs from the Cold War era were later confirmed to be nothing more than highly classified American military programs. For example, U-2 spy plane, SR-71 Blackbird, F-117 Nighthawk. When these aircraft first appeared, the world had almost never seen technology like them before. The U-2 could fly at altitudes far beyond ordinary civilian aircraft. The SR-71 Blackbird could reach speeds above Mach 3, more than 3 times the speed of sound. Meanwhile, the F-117 Nighthawk featured a strange stealth design that barely looked like a conventional airplane at all. To ordinary Americans at the time, those objects appearing in the night sky hardly seemed human-made. Many witnesses claimed they saw lights moving in unnatural ways, objects accelerating at impossible speeds, things completely unlike familiar aircraft. And because all of these programs were highly classified, the U.S. government explained almost nothing. That convinced countless people they were witnessing real UFOs. Some declassified documents later suggested that the U.S. military sometimes allowed UFO rumors to spread intentionally, because if the public believed they were seeing alien flying saucers, they would be less likely to suspect the existence of secret military technology being tested in the Nevada desert. In other words, UFO rumors sometimes became the perfect cover for America's real military projects. And that may be the most unsettling thing about Area 51, because perhaps the base never hid extraterrestrials at all. Instead, it may have been hiding military technologies far ahead of their time, technologies ordinary people were never meant to know existed. It was not until 2013 that the Central Intelligence Agency officially released documents confirming the real existence of Area 51 for the very first time, after decades of denial. For many Americans, it was a shocking moment, because for so many years, Area 51 had existed almost entirely through rumors, conspiracy theories, and stories about UFOs. But even after the CIA admitted the base was real, most activities inside remained completely classified. To this day, there is still no publicly verified evidence proving that Area 51 is hiding aliens, extraterrestrial UFOs, Shanghai, or technology not from Earth. Most historians and military experts believe the base primarily served as a testing ground for America's top-secret military technology during the Cold War, a place where the United States developed reconnaissance aircraft, stealth technology, aviation programs decades ahead of the rest of the world. But what truly turned Area 51 into a legend was not what people knew. It was what nobody was allowed to know. Because for decades, the U.S. government essentially allowed the world to stare into a void filled with secrecy. No explanations, no clear information, only steel fences, radar systems, and restricted desert zones. And when people cannot see the truth, their imagination creates its own answers. That is why Area 51 became the center of endless stories involving UFOs, extraterrestrials, anti-gravity technology, secret experiments, and hidden projects the public was never meant to discover. But perhaps the most fascinating possibility is this. Maybe the greatest secret of Area 51 was never aliens at all. Maybe it was how far human military technology had advanced behind closed doors. Because during the Cold War, many technologies once considered impossible eventually became reality. And that is what truly makes the place so haunting, even today, in the cold emptiness of the Nevada desert. Area 51 still remains there, hidden among barren mountains, behind steel fences, surveillance cameras, and strictly restricted airspace. A place where the world has never fully learned the truth. And perhaps that mystery itself is what turned Area 51 into one of the greatest legends in American history.